YouTube, how are we doing? The season is finally here. Thank you very much for tuning into this latest episode of the HuddleUK podcast. We're doing a lot of Panthers chat today. I know that's not everyone's team, but it is a UK-born player. It's great to have Mapalo Mwansa joining the Huddle today to talk through his journey from a boy in Peterborough through Loughborough University into the IBP and now a member of the press squad after making his debut in pre-season just a couple weeks ago. Just a heads up at the start, please like and subscribe. Click the bell to not miss any single update that we have. All of the clips from this podcast as well will be available in our reels and our shorts section of the channel. So make sure to go check that out and follow us on all social media at Join the Huddle UK. Let's get into it. A very warm welcome into this episode 22 of the HuddleUK podcast. We've made it through the off-season, ladies and gentlemen. We've got there. The regular season is a matter of days away. If you're listening to this on the day of release, we are just 5 days away from the start of the regular season. The Eagles and the Cowboys kicking us off before the Chargers and the Chiefs on the Friday on the YouTube game in Brazil. It's been a long off-season, as I said, and we've had some wonderful guests on through that, and that continues today. We're going to start off the episode with a quick chat with Gurmeet, one of the co-founders of FantasyGameday.App. I'm sure a lot of you would have seen them over on social media. A really good platform for your mates to get involved in setting fantasy leagues, a bit of gambling fun here and there. Always please remember to gamble responsibly if you do use that app. And then we're going to get into the meat and bones of the episode with Mapalo Mwansa, UK-born Peterborough boy, now on the practice squad of the Carolina Panthers, having gone through the international player pathway this year. A great chat with him, a really good experiences, and how he came into the NFL. It's not your regular story, so really good to chat to him. We're joined by Keg Wilson, the Huddle UK's Panthers writer, through that section as well. So make sure to stay tuned for that bit, the second segment of this podcast. And remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, please click that subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us the 5-star review while you're there. It doesn't hurt you, doesn't cost anything, but really helps us out. And if you're enjoying it, please remember to click the like button, comment, or whatever you're on, repost, share, whatever social media it might be. Follow us while you're there at Join the Huddle UK. And that's all from me. Enjoy the start of the regular season. Thank you very much for your support during this off season. We've gotten past 800 followers now on X. We're hoping to get to 1,000 early on in the season and onwards and upwards from there. As I said, thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to Mapalo Mwansa today. But before we get into the Panthers chat, just a quick chat about one of our partners with Huddle UK, Fantasy Game Day. The season's back and we have to talk fantasy football at some point on the podcast. We'll do it right here at the start. Joining the Huddle for a quick chat is, I don't know, is it founder, creator? What would your title be?
One of the co-founders. There's three of us who started Fantasy Game Day.
Yes, Gurmeet here, joining us today, one of the co-founders of FantasyGameday.App. If you're listening to this and you used to play DraftKings, it's that sort of style. If you're a fantasy football player, it's one of those sort of apps where you can set your lineup week to week. You'll explain it in more details, I'm sure. But this is a brilliant app. It was launched last season, wasn't it? It was your first year?
Last year was our second season, so we're now going into season 3. First year was really, small scale and almost like a beta testing year for us. Last year was the one that really we got going and we gained a following and some popularity.
Yeah, because you've worked with, not you partnered with us, Huddle UK, but I've seen you've partnered with lots of other teams as well and podcasts and become really part of the community.
Yeah, we've been so blessed and so lucky that people like yourselves and the UK NFL and fantasy football community have really got behind us and supported us. So we're so grateful. And thank you for having me on tonight as well. Really appreciate it.
No, not a problem at all. I'll talk fantasy football till I'm blue in the face. And I've said a few times on this podcast, happily would do it. When was the idea? You said you're one of the co-founders. Where did the idea start? And who was it? Was it one of the three of you particularly who had a love for the NFL and fantasy football?
Yeah, two of us are absolute lovers of the NFL and fantasy football. We're both Jets fans. So it's been a bit of a struggle, but there we go. We had the idea actually because we felt that the NFL fan in the UK was underserved by daily fantasy options. And January 2022, we thought to ourselves, you know what? We don't think there's many options out there which are very good for lovers of fantasy football like ourselves. And it started as an evening and weekend passion project, and it sort of started gaining bigger things and momentum. We got granted a UK gambling license in March 2023, and that was the springboard. We launched September 23, and here we are. Things really changed for us last year because big players left the UK, and it's benefited us. But to be honest with you, I think it's justified our initial decision that the UK hasn't been taken seriously as a place for the daily fantasy player.
And where, I think I know the answer, but I'll allow you to do the honors as it is your app. Where, if people wanted to play on the app, FantasyGameday.App, where would they be able to find it?
You can find us on the App Store, so for Apple iPhone owners, and on Google Play for Android users. If you head to our website, www.FantasyGameday.App, you'll be able to get the links there, which will take you directly to the stores for download. And you've got your promo code as well. So if you put the promo code in there, everyone will get a £7.50 credit instantly on their account after they've deposited and played any of our games.
Yeah, use the promo code HuddUK, HUDUK. I'm going to put that somewhere on the screen if you watch it on YouTube, to support us, to support the app, and as you said, to give yourself a free £7.50 to spend and play. I know you're not quite at the time of this recording. We're about a week away from the start of the season. You can't set a lineup yet. It's about to be on the update of the app. But did you say you've already got the price of each player?
Yeah, we're ready to go pretty much. We're just waiting for a couple of final approvals from the app stores. But yeah, we'll be launching the games any day now. We will be kicking off with Ballers, which is, for those who aren't familiar, is our showdown style games where you pick the players solely from an NFL primetime fixture. The first week of the season, we've got Thursday night football, which is the Cowboys, which against the Eagles, which after the Parsons trade, it's an amazing start. And then there's the Brazil fixture with the Chargers and Chiefs. You'll be able to play Ballers on our app with that. And then we get going with a full slate, which is Sunday Stars, which is our headline game. And if I can just briefly explain what that is, Sunday Stars, you can pick your players from all of the Sunday fixtures, and we've got two options. One game where you can pick a captain who earns you double points, and then we've also got classic style fantasy where there's no captain, and that was really requested last season. So we like to listen to feedback from our users and our fans. So we introduced classic style games as well.
I entered loads last season. I think my best finish was about a 5th place finish. Got still a bit of credit left in that I'm looking forward to. Do you know who the most expensive player is going to be in week 1 on Sunday?
Yeah, well, not surprisingly, it'll be Jamar Chase and Bijan Robinson, who I think are going extremely high on redraft boards as well. But we've gone through it. I've looked through it myself, and there's a couple of real good bargain players out there, especially the Chiefs Chargers game. Spoiler alert, but I think Travis Kelce will be a decent play at the price we've set him for.
Well, this won't surprise any regular listeners of the HuddleUK podcast, but as a Chargers fan, I hope he scores no points. You got the Mahomes jersey behind you. None of this pro Chief stuff. Not on this podcast. Now, in all seriousness,
I'm like I said, I'm a Jets fan, so certainly not pro Chiefs.
Yeah, well, I think no disrespect to Chiefs fans. It's been a great few years. I just think if you're the team on top, everyone hates you, and that has to be the case. Gurmeet, thank you very much for jumping on. As we said, use the code HUDUK to get a free £7.50. Go check out FantasyGameday.App, and we'll get you on as well during the season to talk through the most popular players and lineups as we go as well. Anyway, let's get into the meat and bones of our interview. Again, thank you to the Carolina Panthers for helping facilitate this. But we've got an IPP graduate and now member of the Carolina Panthers practice squad, Mapalo Mwansa. Joining the huddle today, I'm delighted to say that we have another one of the IPP graduates, another UK-born NFL player, active NFL player, Mapalo Mwansa, linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. Maz, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, guys. How are you?
Very good, very, very good. And of course, you can also see if you're watching this on YouTube that alongside me, we have Keg, who's our Panthers writer for the website. Keg, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Looking forward to this one. Yeah, getting part of the Panthers, your Panthers fan writer for this channel. Yeah, it's good to meet Maz and get cracking with this interview.
Yeah, it's been a long off season. We'll start obviously with you, Maz. I'm curious how what your route was to the NFL. What was your first sort of memories? I think you were born in Peterborough, if the internet is to be believed.
Yeah, that is true.
Growing up in Peterborough, when did you first come across the sport of American football?
I feel like the first memory or first introduction I ever had of the sport was the first time I went to the US. I've got some family friends in Houston, and on a trip there, we were in the back garden throwing the ball around. And that's the first ever introduction I had, about 12 years old. But it wasn't something that really sparked anything past then. As like when I went back home, it's not like football was easily accessible on the TV, etc. So the journey's really been the last 2 years of my life, and it's been a very quick journey.
Were you involved in sort of any other sports? Obviously, big physical player like yourself. Was rugby on the cards for you over here?
Yeah, I grew up playing soccer mainly, and then when I got to secondary school, that's when my like love for rugby started. I went to Spalding Grammar School, and we like to compete at rugby at a good, very decent level. So we win some county and regional competitions where we battled it out, and that's where I started to enjoy physical contact, enjoy like how it feels to, go on the field and just kind of forget everything. Obviously, soccer is something which is more skilled and more, I say, like, you have to be precise, whereas you can just let loose when you're playing rugby. And that's something I really enjoyed when I was playing it. But my mum wasn't too keen. She's a nurse practitioner, so she wasn't too on board with me playing rugby. So yeah.
When we had Travis Clayton on, I think he's 6'7". I wrongly made a fool of myself and assumed that he wouldn't be playing central defensive midfield at someone at 6'7". So I'm not going to make any assumptions about where you played. What positions were you playing in rugby and football?
So I played outside centre when I played rugby, and then football I played centre back. So
see, that's what I expected. That's what I expected.
Yeah, I'm the
big
typical
physical guys. I was thinking centre back. It's got to be a centre back. No, he was like, no, I played number 6. It's like that doesn't check out.
Yeah, again, box to box. That's a lot of legs to cover ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, fair play to him. Like, you've got to have an engine to do that. And you went to Loughborough University, didn't you? Which is sort of, if you're listening to this from America, Loughborough University, quite well known in the UK for being a really sporty university. Yeah. That's sort of the perfect spot for you and place to go to uni.
Yeah. Well, I actually went to Loughborough University just for educational purposes. So obviously I grew up playing rugby, football. My high school kind of, they just encouraged us to play as many sports as possible. And I really just enjoyed playing sport. So then moving to a new school for my A-levels, I went to King's School, Peterborough, and that was during the COVID time. So we didn't really participate in sport. I didn't represent my school playing sport at that time. So I kind of that like love for sport or playing kind of died down. So I just went to university to study economics and finance, just to make my parents happy. Study degree and, continue with life, as I just thought that was the route for me, the traditional go to school, go to uni, find a grad job. I thought that was my route. And then along the way, football really found me. So when I went to Loughborough, I was just studying, as I said. I did powerlifting for the uni at the time, and then I was invited to an open like track meet, intramural sports, and someone saw me run. And that guy, Henry Rowland, he plays football in the ELF in Europe, and he's like, "Oh, like I ran the 100 meters," and he's like, "You're fast." Like I ran a 10:4 at that event. He's like, "You're like very fast. What do you do?" And at that point in time, I was just powerlifting, as I said, and he just said to me, "What a waste! Like that's a waste of athletic talent. Like what are you doing? You should play football." And as men, we have pride. And someone telling you like what a waste, I was like, well, what do you mean what a waste? So then I went back, I researched what he was talking about football. I was like, okay, football, like I know touchdowns, I know that's what's going on. That's all I really knew. And I just knew a lot about the Sellies as well. So I was like, okay, let me give this a go. And then I feel like something in my heart was kind of like, you can't start a new sport at 19. Like, there's no way you're going to be good at any sport at 19. Then one day I was at home washing dishes, just during the summer holidays. I was just washing dishes and I was listening to something on YouTube, and then the next podcast played, and it was a interview of Eugene Amodadze, the world's fastest accountant. And he was talking about his illogical journey into achieving this British records at the age of 30. So he's someone who started sprinting at 26 years old and then achieved British records at the age of 30. And he was saying that his whole journey did not make sense. And then I was just like, okay, like, he's 30 years old. Like, this has been put on my page for a reason. Like, this is something inspiring. And then I was just like, we believe in the same God. And he's talking about how his sporting career took him on a faith journey and like really helped him to believe in God and like just have faith in what he's pursuing. Like, God wouldn't put him in a place which he couldn't handle and give him all these opportunities which were too great for him. And growing up in a Christian household, African household, Christian household, that's a big thing. Like, there's education, respect your parents, and God. Those are the main things. And then I was just like, wait, we believe in the same God? Like, why am I doubting myself? So then after that, just went back to the uni, kind of joined in with the uni team, played a couple of games, and then, yeah, the opportunity skyrocketed after that.
Was it the Nottingham Caesars that you was sort of like the British team that you were playing for?
That was the Baffa team I played for after the season end with British University, with the Buck season end, because the Buck season's quite short. I think we played less than 8 games or something like that, less than 8 games. So then, yeah, moving to Caesars after, just to continue football, to keep it going and, you know, kind of learn more, as I knew I had so much to learn, and I was kind of just running around, just running around, see something hit. So I was just like, let me continue playing football rather than stopping.
Well, you've already touched upon it, how it's sort of all happened in the last 2 years. It is quite a whirlwind journey that you've gone from, you know, powerlifting at Loughborough University to being a member of the practice squad now for the Carolina Panthers. What was the IPP like? Because I know a lot of the guys on that international player pathway. I know Jordan Patai was on that, of course, Australian international rugby player. I think the other British guy was Dante Barnett. You're all going to be in the same boat there, aren't you? Is that you've got a passion for something, you've got the physical traits for it, but it's about trying to pick up the game quickly. What was that experience like on a whole for you?
So getting onto the IPP, to begin with, getting onto the IPP was something which is completely like alien, and it's something that everyone outside of the US wants to do who's interested in football. I had Dayo Oyedele, who went to my university, Loughborough University, who's currently with, I think he was signed to the Cowboys practice squad this season. So he's had a couple of years in the league now. And I knew that there were other people that had gone through this pathway, but I didn't really know what it was about. So I was just, as I continued with my education, started my audit and accounts internship at MHA, and I was working full-time, 9 to 5, working full-time as an accountant, which is quite funny, as the story I was inspired by was the world's fastest accountant, and then I was working a full-time job. I was working full-time, just continued lifting, continued running track, just sprinting to ensure that I was in good shape. And then that journey continued until from August and then I had a invite to the IPP regional combine, but I didn't know about in October time. That happened for me. Competed, did my best in that, and then it's just kind of radio silence. You have to wait for the results. So I continued lifting, continued working, and then I just get a text one day like, "Yep, you're going to be part of the IPP." So then it was like this Hannah Montana lifestyle. I had to kind of like just pretend that nothing was happening in my personal life and just continue going to work every day. No one knew about it. And then one day, handed cards to my office. It was around Christmas time. I handed cards to my office, just each department, just saying, "Oh, thank you." Like, obviously it was a Christmas card, so like, "Oh, this is so lovely. Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too." I was like, "Oh, what's this for?" And I was like, "Oh, today's my last day." And then after I went to the IPP, so you're in Florida for what feels like a long time, what feels like a really long time. And I feel like the program's really shaped in a way which helps you prepare for an NFL training camp, as the days and the intensity, it keeps on going, it adds up, and your body is in the same condition it would feel in training camp. As you have to learn football, prepare for the combine, and then get some reps in playing football and put on some pads. And that's the biggest thing for all of us. The IPP kind of tries to recruit guys who have elite athleticism, elite size, but you have to bridge that gap between being an athlete and then being someone who can play football. So that's what the kind of the jump is during the IPP. And there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. Those guys, they're my brothers for life. You know, it's you're dumped in a place, a foreign place you've never been. We're in Florida, Bradenton IMG, and you're just working every day towards a goal, which you all have something which is similar and something which you've wanted to chase, but you weren't able to in your home country or just because of the place you were born. And that's like a barrier to entry to sport. The place you were born shouldn't limit you from being able to take part in a sport which you have the God-gifted talents to do so. So completely great opportunity.
And I'll let Kev take over with some Panthers questions in a moment now. But just to start on that, obviously the IPP finished. The Carolina Panthers were the team that have taken the chance on you. What's it like being out there in the Carolinas? Do you enjoy your time in Charlotte?
Yeah, of course. The climate's a bit similar to Florida. So when I got here, I was like, oh, it's humid. And that's the first thing you kind of have to suss out when you got pads and helmets on, because the heat does change something being from the UK. But it's been an amazing experience so far. I've learned so much. There's so many great people to learn from. The organisation has been great to me, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunity that I've had here.
How was the preseason? I know you made your debut against the Browns. It was, if we will stay away from the results, I guess, from the Panthers, because it wasn't the most successful 3 preseason games in terms of results. But for you as an experience and, you know, getting your first taste of NFL action, you know, how was it walking out onto the field for that first time in a real snap on a real play?
So to begin with, the preseason it's intense. You have to show up every day, be relentless, and just continue to work and disregard how your body feels and just continue to go ahead. And there's a 90-man roster, and you know it gets cut down to 50, 53, and you know that there's only so many practice squad guys it can take. So therefore, you just have to put in your role and just continue to work. And that is something which is, it's something special, and it's not, you can't really relate it to any other sport, as no other sport has this nature where if you one day you're not on your P's and Q's, you might be gone. So it's something you can take these kind of lessons into any walk of life which you go into past football. Just putting 100% effort into everything you do. The preseason, it was really, for me, I had a positional change during training camp to inside linebacker. So for me, it was more mental, just trying to learn the game and continue to see things from depth, I guess, because not playing the sport. And in the UK, I played the sport, but you can't compare it to the NFL. You can't compare it to the NFL at all. Things are a lot slower. You don't have people who, I'm essentially going from Sunday League to the Premier League. That's the best way of putting it. It's like going from the worst, the bottom of where you can be to the highest level. You're with the best athletes in the world, and now everything's moving fast and sharp, and you just have to be able to continue to carry on with that. So I just was just intent on learning and being able to just be the best teammate I can when that might mean for me giving better looks to other guys, and just sometimes just asking questions to the vets. You know, there's a lot of learning you have to do. So it was great. And then getting to the preseason games. Preseason games come around quickly. It's just kind of in training camp mode. So you just tick off a day, next one, tick off a day, and then by the time you realize, we're playing the Browns. And then it was really nice to also link up with James Cook that week, the previous leader of the IPP, and just talk to him about the similar journeys we've had through being in the US for football and just how it feels to be here.
Yeah, James Cook, he's the senior player development at the Browns now. But I've seen photos of the two of you at the
Yeah.
IPP together. I guess if, as you said, you're over in Florida, different world, different culture, different climate.
Yeah.
It must have been nice to have sort of a British familiar, someone from back home who you could talk to.
Nah, it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear the British accent, because obviously you got guys here a lot of people don't travel out of the US, so they've never heard any other accent apart from an American accent. Then they're expecting me to talk a certain way. Then I open my mouth and like their mind switches off from what I'm saying to, oh, you speak different. Like, so they're not registering what I'm saying. So yeah, it was really good to catch up with James and just we have shared experiences, and yeah, he was just giving me some advice to keep going.
And Keg, I'll hand over to you now because I'm sure you've got more Panthers-centric questions that would be of interest.
Hi, Miles. So, yeah, just congratulations, first of all, for signing with the Carolina Panthers practice squad. So, yeah, with your rookie training camp behind you now in the NFL, like, how do you feel like the overall experience has gone?
The overall experience is something you don't even think about it, to be honest. You can't really think too much when the process is going. You just have to be able to, once the day is gone, onto the playbook for the next day, look at the next, like the day's finished, and you just have to keep on going. So it's not something I've been able to really reflect upon as of yet, but the experience in general has just been something which I'm totally grateful for. And a lot of kids in the US, this like a 1% chance for kids in the US to make it in this sport. So for me to be here and even make a practice squad and NFL roster, it's all the percentage chance is basically negligible. So yeah, just very grateful.
And how have people within the organization, like players, coaches, treat you as the British guy? Have they had any jokes or laughs at your expense? Or?
Been a couple of jokes. They're like a couple of jokes, but on the whole, the organization has been great to me. Coach Canales, Dan Morgan, and Teb family have really given me an opportunity which can change my life and my family's life, and inspire people in the UK outside of America, as obviously the NFL is in the US, but the market can be so much greater and expand beyond that stateside and go into overseas, where if you have role models for the sport and people playing on suiting up on Sundays, the game will grow, and that just helps not only the guys here, but it just helps the sport in general. Because if I had role models growing up in the sport when I was that age, then maybe I would have had a passion for it and wanted to pursue that instead of playing rugby, playing soccer, So it's been everyone's been great to me here.
Yeah, and Dan Morgan, as you mentioned there, the Carolina Panthers general manager, is an ex-middle linebacker himself, a former first round pick, I should say. Has he had any words of advice on you adapting to the position?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an honor to be picked up as a linebacker by a linebacker, you know what I mean? And someone of that stature who had a great career, it's like a compliment in itself that they see something in you, and to keep you here and to develop you. So the plan is just for development, and from that, things will happen. If I just get better and continue to tick away and just do what I need to do to, as I said before, change from being an athlete to a football player, then the sky's the limit.
And another former linebacker is the jersey that you wear in number 58, made famous by Thomas Davies. Have you met TD, or has he reached out and give you any words of advice?
I haven't managed to reach out to him yet, but yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. Is there's so many this this organization is built upon great linebackers, so yeah, I've got plenty of people to learn from here. So yeah, I'm like I said, it's a beautiful opportunity, and there's no better place to do it.
Has anyone mentioned that number to you at all, the significance of it?
No one's put any emphasis as of now. It's just kind of, yeah, just keep ticking away, keep learning, keep doing your thing. And I think that's great that guys aren't trying to put pressure on me, and just helping me to develop as a player before trying to get any kind of, standard set or standard met.
Yeah, and conversations with Dave Canales, how have they gone? Any words of advice to help your development?
Yeah, coach he's an amazing guy. Like outside of football, he's an amazing human, and something which we've done in our pre-game rituals. We have chapel, so we essentially we go to church, and just learning about Coach's story and what he's been through and his family have been through, and that faith bond that we both have, and sharing my journey into faith. We've managed to build a relationship through that, and I feel like he's someone you just want to run through a wall for. Such a great guy, and because of just his mannerisms, how he's just someone who's I don't know if you've seen any media on him or seen what he's like, but he's exactly the same. Like there's not a better coach in the league that I want to be under. So I'm just grateful.
Just quickly on that note, what is the biggest difference in terms of the vibe and the characteristics in an NFL locker room compared to when you're playing in a soccer team or a rugby team in the UK? How does that? What is the most notable difference?
It's completely different. I'd say in the UK, us guys were more conservative, or more like chilled out, like relaxed. I'd say if you walked into a room, you wouldn't know that a guy's British. You know what I mean? But if you walk into a room, you'd know a guy's American. The guys, like they want to be heard, they want to be known, they want to like show that character. And I feel like, yeah, it's a completely different kind of atmosphere.
Who are the loud talkers, the chatterboxes on the Panthers roster? Because I know most teams, if you watch like Hard Knocks and documentaries, there's always sort of one guy who everyone's like, you can't shut him up.
I wouldn't say there's that guy for our team, but there's a lot of big characters, and that's what you need in football. You need guys who have a character, who are able to, inspire other people as well. If you have great leaders, that inspires the rest of your team, that inspires people who are rookies like me, and that just helps the team culture to, when you have leaders, have guys in the locker room who really provide that guidance and not just lead by example on the field, but also off it. And sometimes that might mean being the biggest character in the room.
And I know me and Keg have spoken about it on another episode of this podcast, but last season, wasn't a winning record for the Panthers, but it was an improvement. It feels like a team that the trajectory is going in a very positive direction now, with Canales, with Bryce Young going into his third year off the back of a good end to last season. How would you, from someone in the inside of that environment, is it the same positivity? Because not every NFL team right now is feeling positive, even though it wasn't a winning season last year. It must be, I guess, I don't like the word vibes, but good vibes there.
I feel like, yeah, it's good vibes in camp. We know the work we've put in, and only we know like how hard everybody's worked during preseason to get to the position they are in, stay healthy, to make the roster, to make the practice squad. So in that, of course, there's going to be great vibes and good vibes in camp, and we're just excited to get to game week 1 and try and show to you guys, because the only thing is that from the outside perspective, all you guys see is what's put out on Sundays, and it's difficult to analyze when you don't see all the hard work behind it and see how much guys sacrifice and the time they spend in the building away from their family, and just dedicate all they have and can to this sport. And that's something which is also very different to any other sport in the UK. There's no sport which requires this much dedication to be in the building. Like, I feel like as someone from another sport, you can have your day and then your day's finished. Whereas this is something, when you go home, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about the plays. You want to watch the film. You have to analyze what's going on. And if you don't analyze that, you won't be ready come the next day. And that means you're not a great teammate, and you won't be able to help the other guys around you who are trying to be better, are trying to perform. So you have to really give it all. And I feel like that's kind of a good thing in my case. I'm away from my family, away from friends, where I'm just here, and the only reason I am here is for football. So I have that I can just put everything into this game right now.
My first ever favourite player in the NFL, I'm not a Panthers fan myself, but my first ever favourite player I've got a signed jersey of was Luke Kuechly, who defined, the greats of the linebacker position for the Panthers. And he was sort of a preacher of watch game tape, watch film, study. Everyone in that league is a physical monster, but it's what's up here that's as important. Is that the sort of mentality you have as well? That you can be as quick and strong as you like, but to succeed, it has to be study, and it has to be, mentally smart as well as physically smart.
Oh, for sure. Because if that were the case, like knowing my athleticism and what I can do in other sports, then it would have translated straight away. But it's not something which it will take time, because there are so many nuances, and you have to know when the lineman lines up, like just from their stance, what play could this be? Like, and just being able to dissect that in less than 5 seconds when you're on the field, when you got people screaming your name, there's so many other distractions going on. It's something which you can't replicate in any other sport, and that's why this is like the ultimate like team sport. It's something that requires everything. It requires flexibility, agility, speed, power, and then you also have to be incredibly football smart. Like IQ in this game is everything, and the guys who maybe aren't the best athletes but are amazing players, it's because they are able to study the game, know what's going on, and they have that great IQ, which is something which I aspire to have and be able to build upon. Which is, I'm grateful that I've been a student, I've been an economics student, so I know how to study. So it's just applying those study habits to now football, and I don't have anything else to focus on right now. So it's just about learning, getting better.
Have you had a moment so far, whether that was in the IPP, in training camp, or in the preseason games? People often refer to it as sort of like your welcome to the NFL moment, where you went, oof, this is not going to be a walk in the park. Whether that was, the first time you were in a big collision, or the first time you looked at the playbook and were like, oh wow, that is quite comprehensive. Is there sort of a moment that stands out to you so far where you've gone, wow, this is serious business?
Yeah, I feel like it was in the preseason game against the Texans. Like I was on a blitz, and I was my eyes were already in the backfield looking at QB. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm free, I'm open. Then the back just comes, collisions me, and he's shorter than me, so he gets right under my helmet. Then you just see my head rock back a little bit, and then I throw him to the side, and then I'm on the chase for the QB. But just thinking, oh, this is like something out of dreams. Like, you're gonna get your first sack, and then no, this is the NFL. Like, be real, this is the NFL. Like, everyone's great. Nothing comes for free. So yeah, that was my welcome to NFL moment in preseason.
Because it does feel from like as a football soccer fan, when you have these 90 player off-season rosters, for it to go from 90 to 53, I know there's the practice squads as well, but you do lose a lot of teammates in that week, don't you? And these are guys who have been playing in preseason, who've been playing really well. Like, there's plenty of guys. I don't know, Hunter Renfro, I think, please correct me if I'm wrong here, Keg, but was part of the off-season roster for the Panthers, had a good showing in preseason, and hasn't made the squad as a veteran of the game. So it is quite cutthroat, the business, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it's the most business-led sport, and that you see that from the profits and the how big the sports property is of the NFL compared to other sports. And you just wish those guys the best in their next endeavors, and you just know that at some point it could be any Tuesday, any Thursday, that might be your last moment in the NFL. So every day you have to just give your best and continue to dedicate everything you have to the game while you're in it, because once you're out of it, it's gone, and it's gone for good. So you really have to enjoy it and just be in the moment.
I imagine the answer to this will be take it game by game, because that's what every athlete in every sport has ever said. But Keg, not to put you on the spot, but we've got at HuddleUK, we've asked all of our writers to put in their predictions for the season. And I think Keg, I'm going to get it up here, has predicted an 8-9 season for the Panthers this year, 3 more wins than last season. I'm not going to ask you for an exact sort of win total, but what do you think would constitute a positive season this year for Carolina?
I think for us guys and for everyone in the building, it's the work we've put in preseason. We know how hard we've worked. We know how we've gone at it and attacked it. We've been physical, and we've displayed moments of greatness. And it's just about putting those moments of greatness into making that a game of greatness and continuing to be successful. And then when you have those games of greatness, continuing on that run and continuing to be great. And like I said, if everyone in the building gets better, your that's your personal goal. That'll help you to achieve those greater goals that you might have, which might be for some players earning a Pro Bowl or being activated from the practice squad to play an eventual game in the league. And it's just about, like I said, like everyone says, it's about getting 1% better every day, because essentially that will, at the end of time, help you to reach wherever you need to go.
I love that mentality. That's a great mentality. Keg, are you happy with your 8 and 9 prediction? I know you made it a good few weeks ago now, before you saw pre-season, before the roster was decided. Is that still a number that you're set on?
I think so. I mean, it's an improvement on the last couple of years. Obviously, 2023 was only 2 wins. Last year, they made the improvement on 5. So I'm confident in this team, and with Dave Canales and the roster that they've put together there, that I think we're capable to kick on and get 3 more. I know the preseason results look bad on paper, but preseason is preseason. It's not the be all and end all. It is just about how the group come together and work as a team. And I think there has been big strides. I think with the off-season moves, free agency, draft, and whatnot. I think we're definitely capable of at least 7. I would say 7 is a kind of minimum benchmark. I think 9 at a high. I think if we've got a winning record, which I think will be the first time since 2017, that would be incredible. But I'm just kind of teetering on 8 there. I think that's a quite nice, happy medium 8 wins there.
And Maz, you touched upon it a second ago, where, everyone's got their different aims. And you said about, getting called up from the practice squad to the active game roster. That must be, I know you'll have plenty more bigger ambitions than that, but for this season coming, that must be sort of step 1 on your journey that you're looking to target.
I feel like step 1 for me is really being the best guy on scout team. That's step 1. Like, being a practice squad, you have to give the first team good looks and give the starters a good looks. And from that, you're playing against the best guys in the NFL. You're playing against guys who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's only going to make you better. So if I'm able to get and be the best guy I can, giving good looks, being a scout warrior, let's say, and just trying to improve in that aspect, that will help me to have the belief and to have the faith to say, yeah, like, I know I can do this, because these are the guys who play on Sundays, and these are the guys who compete against all the other teams. If I can do it in training, then, the step towards being able to do that at the next level, which is in game, may not be too far away. But however, playing games and looking forward, that's still something which is very forward looking. And like I said, in this game, we have to kind of be very in the moment and just be like, this is what I'm doing now. And for now, that's my role. And I'll continue to play that role, be the best I can at that role.
And then you mentioned it right at the start of this chat, that when you were growing up in the UK, there wasn't really as much opportunity to watch the sport. Nowadays, I mean, this week, there's been a new show announced for Channel 5. Sky have a new contract, I think, with the NFL to show the game over here. What would be your message to younger kids now? Because you only got into the sport a couple of years ago, but there is more opportunity nowadays, if you're from the UK, to try and learn the sport from a younger age. What would, from your 2 years experience, best bit of advice you'd give to someone from the UK, 6, 7-year-old watching the sport for the first time, who wanted to try and do it as a career? What would you tell them?
So for me, obviously, having that 2-year experience, you say it's 2 years, but it's not really, because the way that football works here is you're in the building every single day and you're learning, and then you're playing on the weekends. Whereas when you play in the UK, you're playing once a week, and then you have maybe an hour training session, when that preparation is it's not the same and you can't replicate it. But that's down to resources and funding for the sport. So it's not something which, like, clubs and universities can really change. It's not something that's well funded in the UK. However, for any kid or any person, or even someone who's doing something out of the ordinary, it's just to believe that you can do it and that you're able to. And where there might not be a path, a little bit of research, some hard work, and you'll be able to get there. And in the UK right now, we've got the NFL Academy, which is in Loughborough, for the guys who are 16 to 19, the high school program. And you've got the BAFA leagues, which are doing great things there to help kids have the love for football. So it's about just having more opportunities for guys to soak in the game of football and to learn more about football. And that will help the game to grow. And I believe that there are athletes in all walks of life from every single country who are able to play this game. It's just about having that access and being able to be given the opportunity to show you can play.
And just not Panthers specific, but I'll ask you first, Maz. I guess as someone who is now an NFL fan, you have to be really as a player. It is a long off season. This episode comes out on the 30th of August on Saturday. It will be 5 days away from the start of the regular season. The Panthers don't play, of course, until the Sunday against Jacksonville. But it must be really exciting for it all to be about to kick off.
I mean, that's what this off season's for. You prepare so much. We've been working since May to perform in September. Like that's a lot of practice and a lot of planning, a lot of guys spending time away from family, time away from friends, missing out on occasions to be able to do it throughout the season. And it's 18 weeks. It's an 18-week season. You always want it to be longer, but that 18 weeks is you just have to give everything. And yeah, changing my perspective from being a fan to being a player. That's something which I did during the IPP, knowing that if I'm on this process, then this is your business, this is your work, it's your job. And that's my job now. So I just have to continue to be the best player, be the best teammate I can to facilitate growth in this whole organization.
And Keg, I know you were potentially going to be a Packers fan, weren't you? I think growing up, there was a path that would have led you down that road. You've landed and said to be a Panthers fan. How excited are you just for the sport to be back? I know we've had preseason, but we all say preseason's preseason. We're getting into it now. It's a few days away. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm the same, and it always is the same. As I mentioned, obviously being a Carolina Panthers fan, and we haven't had a winning record since 2017, but I feel like every year the excitement builds up and you look forward to the games and you look forward to the season, and there's always a little bit of optimism, whether it's like saying your first round draft pick, or in the Panthers case, we've had a new head coach a couple of times, or a new quarterback, or there's always something that you always get excited for. And obviously we've had the 2023 season, the dreaded 2023 season where we only won 2 games. There was a lot of optimism with that, with Bryce Young in his rookie year and Frank Reich coming in, and it went the way that it went. And they're the kind of things that you don't anticipate. But yeah, when it's so long, the off season being so long, you get antsy. These last few weeks, like when preseason starts, and these last few days when you get the final roster cuts, it just builds up that anticipation that's been building for months and months and months, and the next thing you know, it's on the doorstep, and you just can't wait to get started.
And I know, obviously, you don't play on offense matters, but Keg mentioned the draft there. A player that loads of fans, not just Panthers fans, are looking forward to seeing is Ted McMillan, who was the first-round wide receiver this year. What have you seen of him in practices, and is he the real deal that everyone thinks he is?
T-Mac comes to work every day and he puts his best, and it shows on tape, and he'll have the opportunity throughout the whole season to be able to demonstrate to you guys what he can do. But I have full faith in everyone on this squad, and everyone's able to play. And if they weren't able to play, then they wouldn't be in the league. So yeah, everyone has their abilities and what they can do. Yeah, and hopefully everyone can display it this season to you guys as well.
Well, Maz, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I really appreciate your time. Good luck this year. We'll all be watching, and everyone from the UK, I'm sure, will be willing you into that 53-man roster at some point, whether that's this year, next year, or moving forward. Another hopeful Panthers linebacker, one of those maybe up in the rafters one day. That would be a nice moment. That would be lovely. Maz, it's been a pleasure. Keg as well, thank you very much for joining us. This is the last episode of the HuddleUK podcast before the season starts. We are here. We've made it through the however many months of the off season. Football is finally back. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. I've been the host, Philip Marsh, as always, and we'll catch you next time on the HuddleUK podcast.